Welcome, and thank you for joining us today on our cybersecurity briefing. So today we're going to talk about what's really going on. Who does this actually impact? What is the cost? What do I have control over? And how can I use this as leverage for growth? So who are we? We're a small family-owned business with a close-knit team, and we operate like a big family. We're on a mission to help you grow your business and protect what matters most. John, you want to fill people in on what's really going on?
Well, what really is going on is pretty much the same as maybe 5 years ago, just a lot more of it. The landscape has indeed changed. Hackers and even hacking consortiums are becoming more numerous, more sophisticated, and even appear to be forming a business model, not unlike you or legitimate companies. Data breaches, ransomware, it's a growth industry, and that pretty much is what's going on. The Identity Theft Resource Center 2023 Business Impact Report found that 73% of small business owners reported a cyber attack last year, including data breaches and ransomware attacks. Stolen or hacked employee and customer data is offered for sale on the dark web as a major revenue source for hacking groups. Proliferation has increased markedly ever since COVID or 2020. In 2020,
pardon? Sorry, go ahead. So,
am I doing something okay? In 2023, ransomware payments surpassed $1 billion for the first time, indicating an escalating impact of these attacks. Unlike data breaches, ransomware attacks offer immediate revenue from ransoms, but ongoing revenue can be realized by repeat attacks on victims because they've shown they'll pay up, so why not hit them again? And now on the dark web, you can buy a ransomware as a service kit and start your own cottage business, I suppose, on the dark web, from getting it from these bad actors. Apparently, they feel the market's large enough to support more competition. Also, the sale of exfiltrated data, meaning what they locked you out of and you paid for to get it back, in many cases, they're keeping it. They're going to use it to generate more revenue. And this shows it's a growth market. It's not going to change. It's going to get worse.
Yeah, it's really sad. It's getting worse before it's getting better. And most people think their IT department is protecting them, but that's not the case. We just had a CFO of a client last week, a good-sized client where her email account suffered from a business email compromise. And thankfully, our multiple layers of security stopped that and contained it within 7 minutes. But most companies don't have that type of protection in place. So let's talk about who does this actually impact. MGM, casino giant, shut down for good period of a week. Don't know what you expect when hacker supposes to be someone from the help desk, looks up a guy on LinkedIn, calls up MGM and says, hey, I forgot my password. MGM says, oh, here's your password. And next thing you know, it's a hacker's play day. Shuts them down, costs them lots of money, right? That's on a large scale. We hear about that in the mainstream news. You got West Michigan hospitals also haven't been attacked, but we'd like to hone in on something even closer to home for us, and that's Rockford Public Schools. So.
Rockford Public Schools remained open today despite being hacked overnight.
News 8's Megan Bunchman joining us now in studio with what we know about this. Megan?
Brian, Sue, school staffers found several ransom notes printed out in specifically the district's media centers this morning that indicated that they had been hacked.
I heard that they were asking for money.
It was a busy day at Rockford schools as students and parents alike were abuzz talking about the hack.
We received a message on some random printers throughout the district that said that somebody had accessed our network and so they were going to hold it for ransom.
The FBI is investigating the ransomware attack, but Superintendent Steve Matthews says because the district's locks and security boxes are still working, school would continue as usual.
We're pretty confident that this is not a local event. It probably came from overseas, so we don't think there's any safety compromise today. So we're in school.
But for Carla Marsman and her granddaughter, the hack itself was upsetting enough to leave school early.
I got a call that the internet was hacked, and she asked me to pick her up.
The district's phone and email systems were shut down to mitigate future data breaches.
We're concerned that they might be able to access information on our books, for example, or information on our student database.
As classroom studies went old school Wednesday, shutting down computers and teaching classes with books, pen, and paper.
The cell networks work, but Wi-Fi is shut down, so we're trying to assess where the vulnerability was, and then we'll figure out what next steps we need to take.
As of this afternoon, the hackers have yet to state how much money they are asking for to repair the damage. And News 8 did obtain a copy of that ransom note. In summary, it said that the attack was not politically motivated. And after this district paid the hackers, they would send over software to restore the system. The FBI continues its investigation. Brian.
And so the ransom note was pretty easy to obtain a copy of. In fact, students were able to just pull it out of the printer or allowed to take a copy of it home. And this is the copy of the ransom note here. And, you can simply go to a website and then you could be a high school student and, engage, in a online conversation with a cyber criminal. Brings up concern number one for me as a parent, that I don't want my high school kid, I don't want my child at any age, online associating or communicating with cyber criminals. So that's a no-no. But then also what's of interest here is the way that the hackers write these ransom notes. They go through and they essentially back up, they're like, it wasn't publicly stated, and I got to be careful with, we don't know the exact number, but you can find it online yourself that somewhere in the neighborhood of $2.5 to $3.5 million is what was being demanded. And that hackers, go so far as to, essentially guarantee and then even provide customer service. So, hey, if you got any questions, about that 2.5 mil, and you're concerned that if you pay it, then we might not follow through. What guarantees are that we won't fool you? It's stated right here. I'm sure you could trust it, right? So anyway, kind of funny. And
it's all
I just
about
wanna,
the money.
Yeah. So I want to allow my team to interject here a little bit, kind of challenge me on this. Stu Lambert from Lambert Technology Solutions. I see Stu joined us, and Stu, the other day we were talking about this, and you had some interesting perspectives. You said, you bet the hackers stole, all the students, personal information. What's your take on it?
Well, I hear that the attacks on K through 12 schools are definitely prime targets, and it's because they're stealing their PII or personally identifiable information. And I've heard that they're doing it because these kids have clean credit reports, and now they're taking out loans and mortgages against the children's names. Because I don't know about you, but I never froze my kids' credit, right? I didn't even think about it.
No, never give it a thought. So,
yeah, that's an interesting perspective. When not too long ago, I was actually at a school that was the victim of a ransomware attack, not too dissimilar from this one. And, it never crossed my mind until like 10 minutes ago when Jason brought up that as a possibility. Here I was with this lingering memory of that time that my programming project was deleted and I had to start from the beginning, and it really made me angry, when in reality, there was much more sensitive information to worry about there. Absolutely. Sorry, go ahead.
This stuff sickens me. It goes from bad to worse, and it's getting worse before it gets better. And that's what brings us here today. Is we want to educate you. We've got about 3 minutes left in which to do that. So anything else from anyone? So
I think we can move forward.
Alrighty.
So I think this next one is about the cost. And I did want to just mention, Tim Washburn put in the chat that he spoke with someone in the area that had a BEC this year, and it sent out 27,000 emails, and their domain got shut down for 4 days before anybody even noticed that there was something wrong. And it kind of goes to show that if you don't have these redundant systems in place watching over you, things can be going on in the background that you have no idea about, because cyber attacks are not like the movies. Typically, they're not there for displaying a scary image on your screen about their political ideology. They want money, and because of that, they're going to make it as quiet and as discreet as possible so that you don't notice that they're stealing from you. And what are they stealing from you other than money and files? I mean, the normal financial losses associated with the ransomware attack are obviously there. Either you pay the ransom to get your stuff back and, probably get hit again, as mentioned previously, or you hire a company, an emergency company that specializes in this sort of thing, and you end up paying them thousands of dollars to get your stuff back. And even that's not a guarantee either. But beyond that, there's the reputational damage. Most of the time, people don't want to work with a company that is known for giving away their stuff. I mean, once people pay you for something, you are suddenly responsible for the way their credit card information is handled, and I don't want to plug into that network. Not only that, but when you're trying to grow your business and you're trying to hire people in, word spreads fast. And speaking personally, if I know that a certain company got breached within the last couple of years and lost all of their employees and customers' data, I'm going to be very reluctant to fill out a form with my social security number and bank account information on it.
Exactly.
So, and that kind of goes into how you can leverage it for growth.
Yeah, no, you said it. The current generation workforce, they're up on this stuff. These kids were born and raised, with technology. And, are you going to want to go work for a company that has got a bad, track record, or doesn't have, the right things in place? And the things that we're recommending that companies do are, they're the basics, right? This is not a huge money thing. So what do you have control over? You've got control over how proactive you are in mitigating your risk, who you invest in as a trusted partner, and the speed at which you move. And so we're hoping today to accelerate the speed that you move forward. We're going to send you out a free gift. This is an email with just a 2-page PDF. This is like, kid print, we're very easy to comprehend and understand, and it highlights the 5 things that you have to have in place. You got to make sure that your software is up to date. You got to make sure that your files are encrypted. You've got to make sure that you're using unique passwords on all sites. Don't use the same password over and over. You've got to make sure you've got multi-factor, in place, and then backing up, by the way. I don't want to skip over that. And so these things are not difficult. They're not super costly to get in place. In fact, many of these you could put in place on your own at no cost. And so that's really our message here today. And then, of course, we want to extend the offer to help anyone. And so if you're interested in talking to us about it, you could book a cyber discovery session. It's just a 15-minute phone call with us that we use to just better understand what you've got going on, what your concerns are, what some of your questions are. And so with that, if there's anyone in the audience that would like to ask us any questions, we're not in a rush, but we are up on our 15 minutes. So we certainly don't want to hold you up any longer. And you could just unmute if you'd want to ask a question, or you can put it in the chat, or you can book that appointment with us. I can't get no. And thank you to everyone that did join us today. We hope that you got some out of it.
Yeah, your time is always appreciated.